Hi everyone, my name is Apuraj Garikapati. Welcome to my YouTube channel Amazing Apai. Do you know how much Sung Jin Woo respects Cha Hae-in? Or what about Choi? How much does Choi respect his Vice Guildmaster? Well, that's exactly what we're gonna break down in today's video. We'll be giving each character a percentage of how much they respect Cha, starting with the ones who have the least respect, and working our way up to the ones who have the most. So let's get right into it with the first character, Kandaeru, or as most people know him by, the architect, who's actually got minus 10% respect for Cha. Kandaeru is the hidden boss of the Double Dungeon, and he's a straight-up psychopathic and egotistical maniac who despises humanity to his core. But we never saw him during the Double Dungeon raid, right? True, but he was the one who created the god statue and the other statues, taking pleasure in killing humans. So his hatred for humanity is why he's got negative respect for Cha. But that's actually not the only reason. Because when Cha and more hunters followed Jin Woo when he returned to the Double Dungeon, Kandaeru instantly attacked them, as not only were they disgusting humans, they tried to get in the way of his master plan with Jin Woo. So yeah, just look at this face. It clearly shows his hatred towards Cha. Moving on, we've actually got all of Jin Woo's fangirls, who of course got 0% respect for Cha. Yeah, Jin Woo has rizzed everyone, from nurses to hunters to literally everyone on Jin's entire school, and even more. So when they found out that Jin Woo only has his eyes set on Cha, safe to say they got no respect for her as they wanted him for themselves. Like, think about this nurse who got Jin Woo's phone number. We actually find out in the light novel that she texted him 3 times, and he never answered back. So yeah, when she found out that Jin Woo dated Cha, she probably cried. Anyway, next up is Baru, and he's only got 5% respect for Cha. What? Only 5%? Well, hear me out. As we all know, Baru thinks Jin Woo is a literal god. He calls him Your Majesty, and literally starts crying out of admiration for how strong Jin Woo is. And yeah, he wants one thing above anything else in life, to be loved by Jin Woo. And well, that's just it. With Cha in the picture, she rivals for his lord's affection and hand in marriage. And as he wants to be the only one standing beside his lord, this makes him have no respect for her. So yeah, basically he's jealous of her. But not only that, because later when Cha asked Jin Woo if she could join his guild, he decided to test her by having her fight Baru and ordered him not to hurt her under any circumstances. Although Baru initially followed through with the order, he eventually lost control when Cha stabbed him and attacked her with the intent to kill. But Jin Woo of course stopped his attack with his aura. Before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Apai grow naturally, so she not only stands in his way of Jin Woo's love, but she also hurt him. Now, you might think I'm crazy, but talking about Baru, let's talk about the Ant King, who's at 10%. Wait, just hear me out. I know they are the same person or well-bug, but not to 100%. For example, Kim Chol, who became Iron, doesn't have the exact same personality. Anyway, before Jin Woo extracted the Ant King shadow and he became Baru, we actually see that the Ant King had some respect for Cha. What? When? Well, when the Ant King came back and saw his queen's corpse, he instantly attacked the Korean S ranks, and who did he start with? Cha. He sent her flying and almost killed her with a blow to her side. And that's actually how we know he respected her. Because the Ant King could feel that Cha had the strongest aura, and was the strongest out of the group, so he wanted to take her out first, so she couldn't be a problem for him later on. Although he did despise humans, so yeah, he can only be 10%. Moving on, we've got Atsushi Kumamoto, the Japanese S-rank hunter, who's got 15% respect for Cha. During the sparring match between the Korean S-ranks and the Japanese S-ranks, after Cha defeated Kanai, she was on the way to help Yunho. But then Kumamoto came from behind to defeat her, but instinctively she accidentally punched him in the face 14 times. Well, if you can call 14 times accidentally. Anyway, because she punched him, Kumamoto went into his berserker state, where he completely lost it, and only had one thing on his mind, killing Cha. And honestly, if Jin Woo hadn't stepped in, he probably could have done it. So yeah, after getting 14 punches to the face, he doesn't have a whole lot of respect for her. Going all the way from 15 to 60%, let's talk about Goto Yugi. As the strongest hunter in Japan and one of the top S ranks in the world, Goto was crazy overconfident and looked down on people he thought were weak. But that's exactly why he had respect for Cha. Because when he stepped into the hunter's gym in Korea, he immediately recognized her strength, just like the Ant King did when he chose to go after her first. Goto even believed Cha was strong enough to give his guild's top hunters a serious challenge. Another Japanese S-rank hunter who respected Cha with 70% was Kani Tawada. As I said before, during the sparring match between the Korean and Japanese S ranks, Kani faced off against Cha and got absolutely outclassed, as Cha with her insane speed and agility defeated her by touching her back. But don't think Kani was weak, she just realized that Cha was on a whole different level. Before we move ahead, please take a second to share on this video. Sharing helps this video reach friends who may also enjoy anime, gaming, travel, cricket, chess, career basics, or personal stories. Your support helps Amazing Apai grow naturally, and because of that she gained a ton of respect for her. Now, let's talk about Gina and Lee Bora, who both got 90% respect for Cha. Both Gina and Bora are members of the Hunters Guild, just like Cha, though Cha is the Vice Guild Master. So, in episode 6, we see Gina and Bora talking with Park Heejin about their first ever A-rank dungeon raid together with Cha, as they were literally speechless by how insanely strong she was. Bora said Cha took down the monster in a flash, and Gina said that she made it look like no big deal at all. So, not only were they seriously impressed by Cha's strength, they also gained a ton of respect for her. Talking about Gina and Bora, we need to talk about Sun Kai-hoon, who's at 95%. Kai-hoon is also a member of the Hunters Guild, and he was the leader of the Strike Squad B during the Hunters Guild Gate arc. However, he really wanted that spot permanently, so he had his eyes on getting promoted and becoming the official second strike team captain. And this fiery determination he's got is actually a bit thanks to Cha. How? Well, remember the dungeon raid Gina and Bora talked about? Yeah, Kai-hoon was there too and watched in all of Cha's strength, and that's when he said to himself that he wanted to become just as strong as her. But she not only inspired him to train harder, she also showed him what a real leader should look like. Moving on, we've got Baek Yoonho and Ma Dongwook at 98%. Both Yoonho and Dongwook are powerful S-rank hunters, but they're also smart enough to know that Cha is stronger than them, as we clearly saw when the two of them literally rushed to hold down the Ant Queen, just so Cha could step in and take the big bug out, which she of course did in style. Although we don't see them interact that often, it's obvious they respect her skills and hold her in high regard. Talking about S-rank, let's get into Choi Jong-in, the first one with 100% respect for Cha. Choi's the guild master of the Hunters Guild, and he chose Cha to be his right-hand man, or well, woman. Now sure, some people think Choi just sees her as an employee, but that's not exactly true, because he fully trusts her, knows she's got his back no matter what, and even though he technically outranks her, he knows she's way stronger than him, so he's got 100% confidence in her and her strength. Next up, also at 100% is Son Cheol. Yeah, this one might surprise you, but Cha and Cheol are actually really close. Cha's a student at Cheol's Kendo school, basically a swordsmanship dojo, where he's been teaching her the way of the sword, even though he often questioned whether he should even be teaching Cha because of his low hunter rank. Still, Cheol is a very strong and talented swordsman, and yeah, his teachings clearly paid off, so he's got nothing but respect for her. Not just because she's crazy strong, but because she's humble and kind and never looked down on him, even though she completely outclasses him as a hunter. Moving on, we've got Egris, who's at 100%. As we all know, Egris is loyal, respectful, and chivalrous. Before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Apai grow naturally. The guy literally even kneels to Jin Woo after every battle like a true knight. So what does that have to do with Cha? Well, that's just it. Because Egris has complete faith in Jin Woo, every decision his master makes is in his eyes the right one. And since Jin Woo clearly cares about Cha, Egris has nothing but respect for her too. Basically, if Jin Woo trusts her, that's more than enough for Egris. Well, since we're talking about Egris and Jin Woo, it only makes sense to talk about Jin Woo himself, and he's of course also at 100%. Now, Jin Woo loves Cha, But at the start, things were kind of one-sided, as Jin Woo didn't think much of her, while Cha was super interested in him, especially since he was the only hunter ever who didn't smell awful to her, which for her is a big deal. Over time, her little crush turned into full-blown feelings, and she would totally lose her cool whenever Jin Woo was around, and especially when he teased her. But eventually, Jin Woo started to warm up to her, and the romantic feelings became mutual, with the two of them going out on their first date, right before that whole S-rank gate in Soulspawn. And from there, their relationship only grew, as they eventually got married and had a son. Oh, you probably thought we were done. Nope. There's still one left who's got even more than 100% respect for Cha. Can you guess who it is? Well, it's obviously A1 Pictures, and they've got infinite respect for Cha. Yeah, A1 Pictures is the animation studio that animated Solo Leveling. But how do we know they have infinite respect for her? Well, it's simple, really. They are totally sipping for her. Everyone is talking about Jin Woo's aura farming, but Cha is literally glowing almost every time she's on screen. Like, just look at this. Not only that, but you know that we first see her in episode 1 taking down that thief in style, then we see her again in episode 8 when she's working out, and then in season 2 episode 3, we see her swimming. Yeah, well, the thing is none of those scenes exist in the manhwa. Seriously, in the manhwa, the first time we see her is when she steps out of the gate of the Hunters Guild gate and senses Jin Woo's presence. So, not only did they add a lot of scenes to her, but just look at this. You can't convince me they aren't sipping for her. Still, I'm sure no one's complaining that they added these scenes. How much do you respect Chaeyoung? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and watch this video next. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Amazing Appy. Subscribing makes sure you do not miss the next video, and it gives me motivation to keep improving the quality of every upload. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.